Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to the Women's Eye podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Gualandi. I've got to ask, have you ever been the victim of a financial scam? Well, have I got the expert to help you not only build your money power, but also your scam radar. Financial planner Catherine Scrivano is here to tell us about money scams, how to identify the warning signs, and what to do if you've ever been scammed. Hi, Catherine. How are you?
I'm well, Stacy. It's good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you too. I am doing great as long as I don't, get stuck by a scammer.
Well,
However,
we're
it
gonna
almost
help you build
happened.
up your defenses. Oh, it almost happened to you, huh?
It did. It almost happened. It was some over the phone where somebody was pretending to be from my bank, and it literally said my bank on the phone. But fortunately, I kind of my spidey senses
Good.
were instituted, so I kind of I escaped that. But this is definitely a thing, and you're going to help us today, right?
I sure hope so. We're just mostly going to build defenses and awareness. That's half the battle right there.
I love it. So, well, but first, I've got to give you a little plug. This episode of our Building Money Power series is brought to you by Catherine Scrivano and Casco Financial Group in Phoenix, Arizona. She started her business to help people create the financial strength to achieve their dreams. So, again, Catherine, as you said, we're going to build our defenses. Scammers are going to scam. But you're here to tell us that the key to a good defense is having a good system in place, correct?
Absolutely. Awareness is half the battle. I'm so excited to hear that you had that intuition and that you trusted it.
Yes.
Because in the episodes that I've heard of, I don't think there's ever been a time when someone doesn't say, I thought something was off, but, and ignored their intuition. So I'm
Yeah.
really proud of you for listening to yourself.
It was crazy because it got so far into it that I brought Marty into the phone call, my husband, and but then as I'm listening, I'm like, this just seems too complicated what they're making us go through these hoops. And I ended up Googling right there on the phone.
Hmm.
And it said da 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 scam, don't fall for it kind of thing. So I was like, oh, you know what? I think you're a scammer, and click. So I was glad
In my
because
in my perfect world, you would have also had an air horn to put
I know,
before you hung
just
up.
blast them,
But
right?
yeah, but you did absolutely the right thing. Like I say, the first line of defense is listen to your intuition.
Why did
Um,
is this a growing problem? Obviously, I think it is a growing problem because
sure,
more
sure.
technology is
Obviously, they're
there.
succeeding, or they would not continue to do it. So, uh,
Why?
we've
Why do
had.
they do it? Why do these scams exist?
Well, it's apparently a way to
Get
make
away with
money
it.
without breaking a sweat or getting your hands dirty. I can't imagine, to be honest with you. I don't have that kind of a criminal mind to understand the satisfaction of earning a illegitimate living versus a legitimate living. I just can't, not qualified to comment. But it sure breaks my heart. It makes me cranky and angry. And we've just really taken just part of our attitude this year is arming clients and friends and family and just trying to get the word out that
Yeah.
these things do exist. And there are some ways to defend yourself before you're caught up, not after the fact.
Is this something that you see in your business particularly? Like, is this happening often for you in terms of?
Well, I wouldn't say that often, but based on the number of clients that we have in relationships that we have, I feel like it's way too frequent. I mean, it's not
Oh,
just
yeah.
coincidental. We have clients who call and say they responded to a pop-up on their computer or a phone call or something like that, and they're in the process of unwinding. But of course, the first thing they want to do is establish with us that we would not respond to any request for information or send funds, etc.
Yeah, it's like they want to make sure that you've got their best interest in
Yeah.
mind too,
And
always,
the
obviously.
blessing of having done the work that we've done for as long as we have is we recognize the voices of most of our clients.
Yeah.
So That's a huge benefit to this type of a relationship. But regardless of that, the fact that they're having to make these calls, and frankly, one very common thread is that people are embarrassed and ashamed that they fell for it.
Yeah.
And that
But
doesn't point out that my clients are not intelligent, smart, capable people. It points out at how good these scammers are. They're
yes,
incredibly
and that's why they
persuasive.
continue to do it, right? Because they keep getting better
Absolutely.
and better and better, and
Yeah.
finding. I'd love to know the percentage of how successful they, for every, I don't know, 100 calls, that
Yeah.
they do, how successful are they at
Yeah.
scamming? But you and Casco, you have a guide that you provide to people for just this kind of situation, and I have like a printout right now, but it's the scam defense guide. What is it, and is this something that you automatically give to your clients or anybody that you know?
Absolutely. We've been sharing it, and I believe it's going to be available on the Women's Eye website
Oh, great.
too at about the time that this podcast airs. At least that's my hope. The intention is, again, simply uh, having the awareness that these scams exist. We don't hold ourselves out as experts on the kind of scams that are happening because they change all the time. About the time we have one of them identified and figured out, they discontinue that and come up with
And then
something new and innovative. So having that awareness and having a plan in place where if your intuition tells you maybe there's something kind of, I don't know, screwy about this particular call, you know how you're going to respond. You don't have to think it through in the moment. Because one of the things that these scammers do very, very well is get you emotional. They get you frightened. They
so,
create this sense of urgency.
because we're
And
all kind of
you
vulnerable, right? Is that,
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. And they can be just downright abusive. I mean, incredibly abusive. I've listened to recordings of some phone calls, and I actually had to get up and leave the room in one of them, one of
Oh,
the sessions when I was learning, because I was so upset the way that the scammer was abusing the person that was on the phone. I mean, it just, like I said, I had to walk outside, take a few deep breaths, and go back in.
yeah, because that we, as human beings think that, okay, because we're thinking we're listening or talking to an authority figure or somebody.
Right? Exactly.
We're not automatically thinking like a criminal. I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
Thank
tough.
goodness.
It's, I kind of learned too from your guide that scammers have a real superpower where they weaponize something as being urgent, and like I said, they have that authority kind of
Uh-huh.
position,
Mhm.
and I don't know, I guess they kind of create a fear and isolation. But that's what we have to just be. I guess it's something we all have to learn now, right?
Yeah, I think that that's probably the best that we can do is ignite that awareness that, for instance, the IRS will not call you.
uh
That's not their method
Never
of
will happen.
they're not going to text you. The IRS is not going to send an email. However, if you get a phone call, a text, or an email that says we are the IRS and this is what we want to happen next, immediately you're going to tense and want to make it better. You don't want the IRS angry at you. So you're on your back foot. But knowing that they won't reach out in those ways, you know immediately that this is a fraudulent call.
What are
And
some of the
being,
other biggest scams right now? I know they
um,
constantly evolve, but what are some of
yeah,
the big ones right now?
the one that is very interesting to me and frankly frightens me the most probably is they are capturing our voices in our variety of communications. Like you and I right now talking are giving the bad guys an opportunity to capture our voices, cut the tape in a way that could make my voice available to call my loved ones.
Ugh.
And they've edited my words to say, I'm in jail. I desperately need your help. I need you to send money. And it is my voice. They respond to that. Uh, I met a man about a year ago that this had actually happened to. It was definitely his daughter's voice calling,
Oh my goodness.
saying, I need your help. These people are holding me. You've got to pay them. And I'll tell you in a minute how he managed to figure out that was fake. And he said if he hadn't had the opportunity to verify, he said those people would be living in my house right now because I would do anything to save my daughter.
Of course. Wow. Oh my
So
gosh.
that's the one that scares me the most is the deep fake
Oh,
voice because it
this
is
AI
actually the voice
age,
of your
right?
loved one. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah, anything is seemingly manipulated in terms of the ability on the tech world, I guess,
Yeah, yeah.
So I can see, but what about the social security
Oh,
scam, you know?
aren't we all hardwired and conditioned to protect our social security number under every circumstance?
Yep.
And yet, when someone calls or emails or texts and says your social security number has been identified, compromised, or suspended, and therefore everything that we do that involves our social security number is going to go bad. We're not going to get our benefits anymore. We're not going to be able to file our tax returns
Oh,
or get our paychecks or all of the things that we do. So again, that creates that anxiety that we're just so anxious to comply with whatever they want to make that threat go away.
yeah, that happened. My husband's aunt, she had given her social security years ago over the phone to somebody, and
Uh-huh.
she was older. I mean, she was in her late 80s, so that's a very vulnerable set, I would
Yeah.
imagine too, because we're just
And know that when you get that call, chances are very good they do not have your social security number. They're going to call and say it's been compromised and it's up to you to verify that you are the real owner of that number.
oh,
Tell me what it is. And there you go. You've opened the door inadvertently in trying to protect yourself.
it makes me so angry. You mentioned too the computer pop-ups. That's another big one.
Hmm.
The fake.
That one is touches my heart because it came about with one of our clients, a lovely man who had one of the computer pop-ups saying that your data has been compromised. Call this number for tech support so we can fix it. He made the call. A very smart man, by the
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
but he made that call, allowed them access to his computer, and they told him that they found child pornography on his computer. And he was devastated. He would do anything to make that go away.
Yes,
And
of
so he gave
course.
them access to his computer and access to bank account to pay for it. And like I say, this is not a dumb guy, but
Yeah.
he was so appalled at the information that they gave him. He just wanted it fixed. Fortunately, his wife passed by their home office, overheard enough of what was going on. And because she hadn't been involved from the
It's
very
like,
beginning, she was not emotional yet. She was able to recognize what was happening. And she went in and just disconnected everything immediately. We found out, of course, because they called and said if anyone tries to reach into our accounts, and we had to put all the defenses in place.
yeah. And which is, good because it's you were able to kind of head that off at the pass kind of thing, but sometimes people are so in deep and like in the word you just said too, emotional, that there is somehow there's that manipulation into
That's
to
the
getting emotional
consistent.
about something,
Hmm.
so you panic a little bit and you're not totally thinking clearly perhaps.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm curious, what are some good scam warning signs, do you think?
Anything that tries to get your attention, play on your emotions, like you talked about, anything that has this where there's an implied sense of urgency. You
Yeah.
don't have time to do anything but comply with what they're asking. If they're asking for money in the form of gift cards or cryptocurrency, a wire transfer to an account that you've never heard of, that's a real red flag. That's
Red
almost
flag, yeah.
certainly not legitimate. Again, the IRS is not going to ask you to pay your taxes in the form of an Amazon gift card. I mean, that will never happen.
Yeah.
And yet they'll draw this scenario in which that's the response, and you're so frightened and wanting to just make this thing go away that you don't really stop and think about why would the IRS want an Amazon gift card?
Yeah.
So unusual forms of payment is definitely a red flag. And again, the demand for secrecy or that sense of urgency, a they represent themselves to be from an official authority, a police department, the Internal Revenue Service, Social Security, those kinds of things. And also, if because I had to walk out, I can tell you this one is that
Yeah, the
they
angry
can
one.
be
Yeah.
so angry or irritated at you if you ask any follow-up questions, if you ask for more information and the response is anger. A legitimate agency is never going to penalize you
No, their
for
customer
being
service.
protective. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's just it's unbelievable. But at some point, you do hope that something kicks in. I'm curious, why don't people trust their intuition sometimes, do you
Yeah.
think?
Well, because the emotion is engaged, that fear and survival
Yeah.
emotion. And like I say, these folks, if they were to pursue a legitimate career, I suspect they'd be incredibly successful because they're very
Yes.
persuasive, they're
Use their
very
talent
smart.
for good, not for
Yeah,
evil,
yeah.
right? Yeah. What happens if unfortunately you do get scammed? That what do you do at that point?
Well, the very first thing is there are certain agencies that the first thing obviously is stop all contact. Just just hang up, buy an air horn, and get back to your business here. But make the calls, for instance, to your financial relationships,
Hmm.
to your bank, to your brokerage firms, etc., and alert us, and we'll take steps to add an additional gatekeeping to any transactions in your account. Reach out to the credit bureaus, all three of them, and put freezes on your accounts so that they're
Okay.
not charging on your behalf. And then there are reporting agencies through the government. The Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has a
Hmm.
website that you can report that. It may not actually prevent any more damage. However, if there were damage and you had to file claims with insurance or something like that, that report will make a difference. So you want to get a record that this has happened to you.
Yeah. And also too, it's like, you need to do stuff sort of right away, as soon as possible, obviously, the
Right.
earlier the better. And if it's just ongoing, you just have to kind of just go with the motions, I guess, right? Or go with
Yeah.
what, even though it's continuing to go on so long, but
And and that's why we're on this mission to prevent you from that nightmare, is asking you to have a heightened awareness, tell your friends, share with your family our guide, just to so that there's less chance of it happening in the first place.
yeah. Well, there's a really great thing in this, scam defense guide that you provide. It's this proof framework. It's a 5-step scam defense. I
Well,
love
we do love an acronym in
that.
our
Yes, we.
world. So we've got the word proof, PROOF, and each of those letters stands for something that, if you can kind of internalize,
Yeah.
might make you less likely to continue the conversation or allow them accent. The first one in my mind is actually the most powerful, and that's the P stands for pause. And the suggestion is anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds, just let there be dead air. You
Aha.
do not reply. And that doesn't sound like very much time, but count it out in a conversation. If I were to stop right now and not start talking again for 60 seconds, you would be frustrated and this podcast would have to be heavily edited. It's a long time. But so what it does is interrupt their flow. They have kind of a script and a flow and a way this is supposed to go. And that long, odd pause, and keep doing it. If you're going to continue talking to them, keep doing these long, inappropriate pauses. It'll throw them off their game. And it gives you a chance to kind of listen to that little intuition or that little voice. So
Yeah.
pausing is an important part. The R in proof is require a second source. If
Hmm.
they have reached out to you, hang up and call. If you think there might be something legitimate, let's say it was your bank calling and saying that something had been compromised, don't call back the number that came up on your caller ID.
Uh-huh.
Go to your bank's website, to your credit or debit card. There's a phone number on the back there. Make that call independently. So require that second source.
Yeah, that's why I thought this thing was legitimate with me because it had my bank on my phone.
Right,
So I thought,
right.
oh,
And
my bank's
they
calling
can
me.
do that. Yeah, they can do that. So no, you be the one proactive. The first O in proof is observe. There's your spidey sense again, just watching for those red flags that we've talked about, that sense of urgency and secrecy. Um, the O is kind of another way of talking about the second source, but use an outside source to verify. Go online, figure out what legitimate contact information may be available to you that's not been part of this outreach, whether it's by phone or email. Don't reply to their email address. Go to the legitimate site and find the
But,
contact email
yeah.
address. Right.
A legitimate one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the F in proof is forget it. If it doesn't feel good, hang up.
Hang up.
If it is legitimate, if there is something actually going on, they will reach back to you in a different way. But
Yeah.
don't be afraid to say, you know what, feels bad. Do exactly what Stacey did. Just hang up.
Yeah.
If you have an air horn, you have my
It felt
blessing to
so
implement,
good.
but
Yeah.
but end that. So I'm going to tell you real quickly about the person who I was telling you he is the
Yeah. I thought his
his
daughter was
voice.
in major
And,
trouble.
and he was ready to give them everything that they wanted, but he had a separate work cell phone. And so while he's talking to them on one, he used his work phone, called his daughter, who picked up and said, "Hi, Dad, what's happening?"
Oh
And
my God. Oh, wow.
so what a blessing. Not everyone has access to two telephones, but here's
Yeah.
an example of somebody who did all the things we're talking about. It just occurred to him to verify himself in a way that was completely independent. And so there's a very happy ending to that story, but it could have been horrible.
Oh, it could have been horrible. So, how important then is it for like family or loved ones to have some sort of a password? Like, I have a password that I always said to my family, like, if there's ever something going on and I say this word,
Mhm.
know that there's something wrong, right? So, how
And,
important is
and
that?
for the opposite, I hope you would tell your family that if you ever get a call or communication that involves me being in trouble,
Yeah.
if they don't use that password, you know it's not legitimate.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we have a family password that we would use in the case that like what we're talking about. We also use it internally for I might email one of my kids and say, "Oh, I saw this great article. I think you would be interested," and put a link to it.
Yeah.
If that little correspondence from me does not include our family password, they're not going to click on that link.
Aha.
So having the family password, please keep it in the family. Don't share
Yeah.
with
Right. Right.
everybody. But yeah, that family password should be a key to unlocking whatever happens next. And I can't
Exactly.
stress enough how important that is.
Yeah. And then just report. I want it's like let's expose these people as much as
Yep.
possible. Yeah.
Well, you know how you and I have talked that I love to see families have a monthly money meeting,
Yeah.
to talk about all their financial stuff, reviewing the uh, the possibility, the potential for scams, keeping that awareness, and
Yep. Keeping
what
it
would we
fresh.
do if we got that call?
Yeah.
What would we do if we got that text or email? How would we respond? And just reinforcing that long pause. Um, Verifying a second source,
Yeah, that's great.
using the family password, just because this is all great and we'll remember it right now and then 2 months from now have forgotten everything that we've talked about. So
Yeah.
any opportunity to just kind of refresh your memory and reinstate, and maybe we need to change the family password because we talked about it in an open setting or
Too many
something.
people know it exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
well, this subject just it infuriates me, but also
me
I'm
too.
loving that we can get this out there just to the better awareness. But is that the biggest takeaway, or is it like don't kick yourself if you get scammed because
Oh, sure.
yeah, this stuff does wouldn't
A-
exist if they
And
weren't.
you know what? People who have been scammed and realize it and are very embarrassed about having been scammed are very vulnerable to being scammed again.
Yeah.
This didn't happen in our practice, but to a family member where the woman, money was taken from her. She eventually realized it, didn't tell anybody, but she got a call from the sheriff's department saying they were investigating scams and implied that maybe she was a part of the ring that was scamming
Ugh,
because of her involvement. And so she gave them even more information.
information.
I mean, it was
Oh,
quite a cycle because she had established herself as somebody who could be victimized,
yeah.
and they were able to reference her experience. So she assumed it was legitimate. So she was just on a treadmill where they just kept coming after. And it wasn't literally until she was wiped out. They had taken everything. And that's when she had to tell her family what had happened.
Oh, and that's got to be the hardest thing
Oh,
ever. But
so that shame that she felt in the, I mean, it's bad enough that it happened to her once, but then adding the shame to the fear and everything else that she had been through, that enabled them to continue to victimize her.
yeah.
So that's where we're at right now. We're just in a battle and we're determined to have everybody armed and dangerous.
Exactly. Well, arming yourself, the perfect thing
Mhm.
is the Scam Defense Guide, which, if you want to know more about Catherine and all of her financial expertise and also how to get the Scam Defense Guide, you can just go right to thewomen'seye.com. But thanks, Catherine. This has been so, I think the more people get the word out and forget the shame and just say, this is what happened to me. I'm going to teach you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, we are blessed to work with some very, very smart people.
Yeah.
So the shame component should not be a thing. These guys are good. They're really, really good. So yeah, spread the word,
I will. And thank you for helping us to spread the word. So
of
again,
course.
exactly. Well, just again, check out thewomen'seye.com for all things on the Scam Resource Guide and also on Catherine Scrivano. And there you're going to find our books. We've got 20 Women Change Makers and 20 Women Storytellers. Just go to thewomen'seye.com/books. And don't forget, you can subscribe to our newsletter and our YouTube channel, because that's why we're doing this on camera. So let us know your comments, questions, your likes, and dislikes. We would love to hear from you. Again, thanks, Catherine, so much. Until we chat again.
Look forward to it.
I love it. And to all of you for tuning in to the Women's Eye podcast. Keep building your money power. I'm Stacey Gualandi. Remember, it's the world as we see it.